Welcome back to The Explainer. Let's jump right in, because today we are totally flipping the script on something you probably hear about all the time. When most people hear the word meditation, they're thinking, relaxation, maybe stress relief, or just sitting quietly on a cushion for 10 minutes. But what if that is barely even scratching the surface? Today, we're looking at meditation not as some chill relaxation technique, but as a hardcore, rigorous scientific method for investigating hidden, super sensible realities. It really brings up a profound question to kick us off. What if our ordinary intellect is only capable of grasping a fraction of reality? I mean, our physical senses are amazing, don't get me wrong, but they're incredibly limited. They only let us see a tiny part of the whole human being. It's kind of tragic when you think about it. We're walking around experiencing just this tiny sliver of the universe purely because our physical biology is acting as a filter.
Section 1. The limits of the intellect.
Now, what's really interesting here is this fundamental philosophical problem we run into. The knowledge we rely on every single day, our ordinary intellect, is totally boxed in by the biological limits of our physical bodies. It sets up this huge contrast. Usually, we are the subject, right? We look out at nature, we observe objects, and we wrap our heads around them. But in what researcher Rudolf Steiner calls initiation knowledge, there is a radical shift. We actually become the object. We wait for the cosmos to be the subject that contemplates us. Section 2. A fundamental soul reorientation. So, crossing that threshold from ordinary, everyday knowledge into higher initiation knowledge, that demands something massive. We're talking about a complete, top-to-bottom reorientation of your soul. You simply can't use everyday thinking to access supersensible worlds. Really let this quote sink in for a second. In initiation knowledge, we seek to discover how we are being thought by the cosmos. It's this wild paradox. You have to slip completely out of your subjecthood. You literally have to become like a plant, or a stone, or a lightning bolt. You're fleeing your ordinary self so you can become an object for the universe to perceive. Now, actually pulling this off isn't just some passive daydreaming. It takes serious mastery over the inner economy of the human soul through incredibly intense focus. Specifically, it means taking a completely abstract, transparent idea and forcing it into the absolute dead center of your consciousness. And here's the kicker. It cannot be a memory. Memories are absolutely loaded with the baggage of your physical senses and past emotions. It has to be something completely fresh. A perfect example is a simple, crystal clear phrase like, "Wisdom lives in the light." The actual practice means gathering every single ounce of your thinking and feeling and laser focusing it entirely onto this one single idea. You're not analyzing it, you're dwelling in it. And you don't just try this out for an afternoon. We are talking months, maybe even years of doing this. Why go through all that trouble? Because doing this builds what we can basically call soul muscle. Think about it. Just like lifting weights tears and rebuilds your physical muscles, this intense, sustained concentration creates a spiritual soul activity that is 100% independent of your physical nervous system. You are fundamentally empowering your soul, creating a vibration that operates totally free of your physical biology. Section 3. Stages of supersensible knowledge. All right, so once you've actually built up that soul muscle, you can begin this amazing, systematic progression into higher spiritual realities. And to be clear, this is not just random hallucinating. It's a meticulously documented, step-by-step evolution of perception. Here's how it plays out. It starts with imagination, moves into inspiration, and peaks at intuition. Now, don't think of these as a simple grocery list of items to check off. Think of them as a continuous, flowing evolution of how you perceive reality, pulling you further and further away from your body's physical limits. The very first stage, imagination, allows you to actually view your etheric body. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept, because the etheric body isn't a 3D shape in space. It is a time body. It's the continuous movement of your entire life, stretching all the way backward to the exact moment of your birth. Trying to perceive it as a static shape is like trying to paint a lightning flash. You're trying to capture a continuous, flowing movement inside a single moment in space. But getting to the next stage, inspiration, that requires doing something incredibly difficult. You have to take that exact image you just spent years training yourself to focus on and completely throw it away. You have to empty your consciousness entirely at will. By creating this absolute pristine vacuum in your mind, the real spiritual world can finally stream in. And what exactly streams in? The direct experience of unbornness. During inspiration, you perceive the pre-existent life of your soul and spirit, long before conception. We always talk about immortality and life after death, right? But this reveals that eternity actually goes in both directions. You directly experience the absolute fact that you existed before you were ever born. Then, to hit the final stage, intuition, you need some serious heavyweight will forces. One specific exercise to build this up is to review your entire day's events in exact reverse order, from evening straight back to morning. Honestly, try it sometime. It is unbelievably hard. It literally tears your mind away from the normal, real-time flow of events. It frees your spirit from the physical timeline entirely, so you can dive down and immerse yourself into spiritual realities. Section 4. The mechanics of character. Now, I know this might all sound super cosmic, but how does it actually apply to you today? Well, let's bridge these deep exercises with some practical insights from the esoteric thinker Annie Besant. Besant says that meditation is only deliberate and persevering thought aimed at a specific object, and hence is a potent karmic cause. Think about that. Every single thought you have is a literal energy. It creates an actual vibration in your mental body. So this esoteric practice we're talking about, it isn't just about having wild cosmic visions. It's a super active, daily tool for building your very character. So the crucial point is this. Let's say you were born a coward. You can actually, literally, think yourself brave. By aiming deliberate, non-stop thought at the pure ideal of bravery, you repeatedly vibrate that specific energy until it becomes an automatic tendency. You are quite literally rewriting the habits and the actual matter of your own soul. Section 5. Discovering objective moral reality. And this intense character building ultimately leads to the grand revelation of the entire meditative journey. It completely shatters our conventional modern take on morality. Because think about it, for the pure everyday intellect, especially in our modern, hyper-materialistic age, the moral world is just kinda unreal, right? We look at moral laws as mere traditions or subjective social contracts just to keep society functioning. We definitely don't think they have any actual physical bearing on the universe itself. But through intuition, you discover a stunning truth. Materialistic thinking tells us that physical reality is eventually just going to decay into a cold, dead graveyard of entropy. But supersensible research reveals that moral reality is actually an objective law. The morality that flows out of our actions creates real effects that exist eternally, long after the physical universe itself dissolves. Ultimately, what you find is that existence is one continuous, objective flow across both the physical and the supersensible realms. The physical and the moral worlds, they're actually one. Realizing that moral laws are just as real, honestly, even more real than the laws of physics, completely supercharges our sense of cosmic responsibility. Which leaves us with this final, pretty heavy question to chew on. If your thoughts are literally building the matter of your soul, and if moral laws are just as objective and enduring as the laws of physics, how does that change the weight of your very next thought? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it left you with some fascinating new ideas to explore.